Hey there, Wendy here with Jazzydoodledesigns, and today we're going to do everyone's favorite video, the completed page video. July went by like a whirlwind, and I did manage to get 10 pages done, so we're going to take a peek at those. But first, I had a couple of people reach out to me and ask me if I had unsubscribed them, and I had not. I don't even think I have that ability, and if I do, I don't know how to do it. But I don't know if YouTube had unsubscribed them, or if they thought they were subscribing and they unsubscribed, or technological glitch. But you may want to check and just make sure you're still subscribed if you're interested in being subscribed. It is free. So you might as well go ahead. But I just wanted to mention that because I certainly wouldn't want anyone thinking I was unsubscribing them. So not sure what happened there or why, but you may want to check it. Okay, let's take a look at the pages, shall we? Seeing as how it's summer, I thought it would be perfect to work in Rita Berman's, I'm not even going to attempt to say it, but this is her summer book. And I did this page here, and I used Pablo colored pencils. So this is something that I did just kind of sitting on the couch and playing around. So I adore her pages. I love the whimsical style, and I feel like the bright, fun colors really work with the whimsy. So I really like using these. I was going to say I really like using those pencils in here. I don't like them quite as much as other pencils, but they're not bad. And Pablo pencils in general are great to work with, and the colors are really nice. So I feel like this is kind of a fun page. And then I used Posca white pen here for the little dots. And a note to self, don't close your book before your pen has dried. I used a Sharpie. Let me see if I have one here. I don't have one in front of me. It's a Sharpie. Nope, still don't have one in front of me. So it is a Sharpie pen, and it's not the same as a marker. And it doesn't go through at all. So that's great. But it does require just a little longer dry time. Just, you know, it's not an instant dry thing, at least on top of the wax pencils or the oil pencils or whatever, pencils. And so what happened was I just shut my book and I got a little bit of smear here. But nothing outrageous, nothing that, you know, I'm going to cry over or anything. But that was the first page. So while we're chatting about Rita Berman, on the channel, as you know, if you've been here before, I am working in this book and we're going to complete the entire book. And so I did a couple of pages. I had done this page in June, so what I did was I pulled the colors from this page and put them into this page. Now, this page was a little challenging for me because it was hard for me to figure out, are these clouds? Are they dust clouds? Like, what is going on here? And I saw one of my followers tagged me in her page that she had used my color along, but she colored this piece here and this piece over here, like to this line, in, or maybe even this whole section, as a hill, which made total sense to me. And so, Sherry, I give you all the kudos because my brain was like, why is there this little piece here in the clouds? But I wasn't tying it into, you know, being a part of the hills in the background. So that makes total sense to me. But I did enjoy how this page turned out. And then I also did another page. So I did this page here. This is my newest color along in this book, and I use Prismacolor pencils, and I really enjoy the soft look of this. And I find that I tend to go very vibrant like the last page that you saw, but I really love the look of the softer pastels. I just never seem to be able to pull it off, but I do feel like this one I was able to. So I really enjoyed that. So that is page 86, full color along on the channel. Next up is the Disney project book. This has been what I call my couch book. This is the book that anything goes in this book. I experiment. Whenever I get new pencils, I use them in this book. It is a very challenging book on a couple of different levels. The paper is challenging. I do spray it with a workable fixative to start, but it can really be a challenge to work in. Let's start with the first one here. Well, I guess you'll get to see all the pages. Okay, so I may have talked about this one in June. I'm not sure. It's one of those pages where it was right on the cusp of June, July, and I marked it June here, but I put it in July in my online stuff. So if you've seen this one, I apologize. But I used Posca marker, and honestly, I really don't remember what pencils I used. That is the bad thing about getting older, is you forget stuff. So I have to write it down. Now this one I talked about in my tag video. This is one of my least favorite pictures of the year. I could do more with this. I could go in and maybe put, use some like acrylic marker and maybe soften up these clouds a little bit and maybe do another layer. I really did not enjoy the Crayola pencils in this book. I feel like Crayola, while it's a good pencil, the pigment load is not the same as some of the other pencils, and I find that softer pencils tend to work better in this book because of the lack of tooth. And so, I could soften the lines in between here. There's a lot I could do. Sometimes my motivation is stronger at some points than others, and I'm willing to go that extra mile. At this point, what I may do is I've thought about having a video where I take some of my earlier colored pages and maybe pages that I'm not happy with, and I see if I can improve them. So I think I'm going to leave it for that if I ever do that video. Okay, next step is this page. This is another one that I attempted to use the Crayola crayons with, and I just really struggled. So this is multi-layers of the black, and it was just really difficult. Here, this is multi-layers of different greens. I just really struggled to get much in the way of value changes. I feel like you're getting kind of a shine from it as well. But it just, Crayola and I were not playing well together. And by comparison, this is a page that I did with my Pablo pencils, and you can see the stark difference. Look at the greens here versus the greens here, or even up here. And when I look at this, it looks like I did one layer and called it a wrap. I promise you I did not. So I know a lot of people like Crayola, and maybe they're gonna be upset with me for saying it. I'm not a big fan, and I want to give them a chance. I'm going to try them in another book, but to me, there is so much more joy in using these pencils in this book. And then I used white Posca, and I used right here, I used this. Nope. Here we go. I used this chalk marker. So I got this at Hobby Lobby. It's lodydotty.com. So I don't know if it's from Robin Hood. That's what it reminds me of. Oodle Ollie. But it's lodydotty.com. But anyway, it's just a chalk marker for like menu boards and stuff like that. And I just thought it would be nice for kind of this mistier water. And then I went back in with my regular Posca over the top for the dots. So that's what I did there. And I really like how that turned out. And then sometimes when you put it on, you know, if you tap it with your finger a little bit. But I thought that was kind of one for the win. So I have 12 pages left in this book. So my goal is to finish this book by the end of the year. And I think I can do it, you know, if I do 2 to 3 pages a month, we should be able to get it done. So that is my goal. Okay, next up is World Within Worlds. And I tried a new technique, and it's this page. So what I did for this page is I used acrylic craft paint. Just grab one at random here. But like these deco art, they're like less than $2. What I did was I used this with water and I created a wash. And so here I used green, and then in here I used kind of this beige tan color. And I gotta say, I'm really enjoying the technique for a couple of reasons. One, it's a lot faster. You get a nice base layer down first, and then you can go in with your pencils and add the details. Number two, it adds a little more tooth, so you can use white on it and the white will pop off. The darks look really dark and beautiful. And three, it's really much easier on your hands because you're not having to go in for the entire sky with pencil. You lay down a base layer and then it just really adds a lot. So I enjoyed doing that. Now, do I need to do it again and kind of get over the learning curve? Yes, because the key to this is, if you notice here, this piece looks really, it looks good. Whereas here you can see it looks a little clumpier, or it's where I didn't get quite enough water in the acrylic paint. And if you don't, it will start to go over your lines and blot them out. And that's definitely not what we want to do. But I also find it nice because it kind of gets you over that blank page fear, right? Have you ever had that paralysis where you're just looking at this uncolored page right here and you're just like, I don't even know what to do, and it just seems like so much? Well, when you put that first layer down, it really helps you kind of like forge ahead, so to speak. But I really enjoyed that, and I am going to do more, especially in these books. You know, that's a lot of sky here. And what's nice about this is that if I go over the apple, my colored pencils will color over it. So the only thing you have to watch out for is if I were to do a black background, you know, the white and whatnot will go over it, but sometimes it can change the tone of your color a little bit. And you can see some variants here where I started with one green and then changed to another, and I think it worked because it adds, like, these have this a little bit more of a yellow tone to them. So there's a lot to be said for this technique, and so look for that on the channel going forward. And last of all, this is a new to me book. And since I only have 12 pages in the Disney book, this may be my new couch book. It is a Korean book. Stella Park is the name of the author, or the illustrator. And I think it's called, like, Since We Met, maybe. But I did 3 different pages in this, just sitting on the couch, like hanging out. And this, let's see, this first one I used Holbein pencils, and they worked beautifully. And I really kind of like the colored pencil look on these pages. You can see that she left them that way, and so I enjoyed it. These kind of things I really enjoy trying to duplicate and challenge myself using the pencils that I have to get the colors that they used. And sometimes it's easy and sometimes not so much. But the next one I did was this page, and this one I used the Pablo pencils. And once again, I felt like it worked really well. This is really good paper, but the images are super cute. There isn't a whole lot of blending and shadowing and layering that you have to achieve other than trying to duplicate colors if you don't have them. But there's license to come close, right? Doesn't have to be perfect. This is for enjoyment. And so for me, I want my couch book to be enjoyable. I want to relax. That's what I want to do. When I'm filming for you guys, I always try to maybe, try and show you what I'm doing. When I'm doing a couch book, anything goes. I can do it in any order. I don't have to think about it. I can try new things. This book is nowhere near as challenging as the Disney book, but I kind of am enjoying the change of pace. Here's the 3rd page. This was also done with Holbeins, and once again, super whimsical, fun little pictures with these cute little characters, and I just really enjoyed it. So that is it for my coloring pages this month, and until next time, do the YouTubey things, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you for watching another video from Jazzydoodledesigns. If you enjoy adult coloring content, please consider subscribing. You can now find me on Instagram and Facebook as well. I welcome all comments and suggestions. Don't forget to like the video before you go. And until next time, take care.